Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gorilla and The Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I am here with John, the Ginger Gorilla. John, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Excited for episode 2. Excited to be talking to my best friend, and excited to dive into these topics that we got on hand today.
Yes, sir. Quick housekeeping update. I'm not sure if we ever said this on the last podcast. This is going to be a bi-weekly podcast. So it'll be every other week, not every single week. I'm not sure if anyone thought we were just like behind an episode or whatever. And I apologize for any weird sounding audio on my end from last podcast. We are currently messing around with our equipment and stuff. And just to give you a peek behind the curtains, we're not next to each other. We're recording this from our own separate homes.
We're doing it the way that we most naturally talk to each other, over PlayStation.
Over the PlayStation,
over the
internet.
Because,
exactly.
Why should we ever be standing next to each other? That's so foreign. How dare anyone think that we need to have a physical relationship to have this podcast going on? Wow, physical relationship sounds so weird. Physical relationship sounded really weird, though, when it came out of my mouth. So, Kyle, before we get into anything that we have on topic this week, I want to bring up one thing. When was the last time... So, actually, let me word it this way. You played basketball in high school, right?
Yeah.
You were, athletic, good, right? That was, you were probably, one of the primes of your basketball skills, would you say, right?
Sure.
Okay, but even physically stuff. How long have you taken off of basketball? The biggest length of time.
You mean right now or ever?
Just ever.
Man, maybe 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3. Oh wow, that isn't even close to what I was thinking. Just not for you, but in general. So the reason I bring this up is because I went swimming today, right?
Okay.
And I swam in high school. Just a little behind the scenes for everyone. I swam in high school. I went swimming today. Bro, it is so hard. I am so out of shape. I couldn't even do probably a tenth of what I would have been able to do in high school. It's just one of those things I've never even realized that I've degraded that much, because I've started lifting, so I put on more muscle mass. But swimming,
Johnny Swoles.
Swimming shape, it's just it's my body can't handle it. It's wild.
Yeah, it's we're washed. We're washed up.
We're getting old. We're up here at our ages, and soon our bodies are just gonna start falling apart.
Yep, and while our bodies start falling apart, we'll keep just playing more video games.
Mentally,
Esports, baby.
It brings our mental up to date, right? So it will keep us on edge. It'll hone our mental dexterity.
Exactly. Now, would you like to start with your topics, or would you want to start with mine?
Let's do yours. Let's keep it in that order. I think that's...
All right. So I wanted to discuss something that I've been kind of tinfoil hatting for the past 5 years. I want to discuss the streaming wars. And anyone who doesn't know what that is, think back to the time where TV ratings really mattered. And there was a ratings war every night on TV for who can get the most viewers, who can keep their audience. Nowadays, that's basically impossible. You can't really get someone to tune in live to something, or a whole big group of people to do that, because everyone's watching stuff on their phone, everyone's streaming stuff, and because of streaming, every big network and company is now trying to make their own streaming platform. So here's a list of the streaming networks that I was able to find this week. AMC's developing one. There's Netflix, the WWE Network, DC All Access, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Apple Plus, Warner Media's getting one, Discovery/BBC, NBC Universal, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and HBO Go. My God.
I'm overwhelmed just listening to you say it.
Yeah, and there's plenty more that I just haven't figured out yet. And I believe... Go ahead.
It's so wild. That's just so many. And there's going to be good content on all of them that you probably are going to want to watch at least one episode of something, or not one episode, one show from one of those platforms. God, it's just exhausting.
That's the thing I was thinking about. Exactly. And it's funny because a lot of people, I don't know how many really, we know one person, at least one of our friends, cut the cord and goes straight off of streaming. I'm not sure how feasible that's going to be in the future.
Well, do you think?
I think.
So sorry to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
do you think that they're gonna do something almost how they had a cable package, right? Do you think they're gonna have like a streaming package? Like a company's gonna come out, like buy rights to maybe all of them, like a little bit, and they're gonna be like, boom, we got a streaming package where you could get Apple, Google, Hulu, Netflix, and this for all one reasonable price, cheaper than what you would get it for if you bought them all separately. So would you like our package where you would get like a, and then they add fees on tax shit on like.
So that's the thing. I mean, Disney's already starting to do that. For those of you who don't know, Disney owns ESPN and Hulu. So I believe with Disney Plus, there's going to be a tier where you pay a certain fee, and you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu all included. And I can honestly see certain companies doing that if they can start buying some stuff out. Certain companies I don't think will ever go away. I think AMC will be their own thing. I think Netflix will probably always be a thing.
I also feel like those companies aren't just like, oh, this is our content on here. Like they're like a conglomerate. I don't even know, how would you say that? Like they're content from all over the place, right?
Either a conglomerate or an aggregator, one of those two terms.
Aggregator, that's probably a better word to use for it.
But yeah, so what I wanted to discuss is, do you think it's heading down a path where it's not going to be feasible for people to have all these streaming platforms? Because there are people out there that still do pay for cable and also have some sort of streaming platform. Like I know in my household, we have cable, and I also have Hulu, Netflix. I have the WWE Network. I have Funimation. I share with Sean from my YouTube channel. And I believe... I have DC All Access. And I'm probably going to get Disney Plus, too. So it's starting to add up, if you think about it. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to have... I don't know if people are going to be able to have all these streaming platforms as well as cable anymore. I don't think it's going to be feasible.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because if you even just think of the prices of them, what is Netflix up to now? Like $12, $11 a month?
I think it's at least 12.
So like think of it, that's just one, right? So that's just Netflix. Obviously I don't know what a cable bill looks like because I'm cheap and just use all my parents' stuff. But like a cable bill, let's even say if it's what would it be? A cable bill.
Let's say like $80 a month.
So if it's $80 a month, right? How many things could you actually get? If they're each $12, right? A month. That's only 5 things will bring you up to 60. So then you have maybe 6 things or 7 different streaming services, and that brings you over the mark. Right?
Yeah. So, I'm actually gonna do some research right now. Okay. So it's even less than that.
Oh my god.
So Xfinity cable and internet special offer is $50 a month.
That's cable and internet, folks. Cable and internet.
Yeah. That's the issue. I don't know what we're going to be doing in a couple of years. There's going to be so much content.
Oh my god. Yeah. So then do you think what these cable companies could do then to hopefully keep like their TV things online is somehow get a work in? So like, for instance, give me one channel that's also coming out with a streaming service.
I believe NBC.
Okay, so let's say NBC. Oh yeah, they're the Peacock or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So NBC is coming out with their streaming service. So say, like Comcast or Xfinity say, hey, if you own our Comcast or Xfinity deal, you get, even if it's, you get the Peacock streaming service for free or something, like to keep their cable companies alive, you get streaming services with it.
I think that's pretty smart.
Because and maybe even if they raise the price, right? Because right now, $50, right, for what did you say, Comcast or Verizon, whatever. But that comes that's the TV and the internet. That's not bad. That is not bad. Now, if you get the TV, which then you could use on demand, so for normal TV shows like that, which there's still some good quality stuff on TV. Then you get internet, right? Which, I mean, technically, we don't really have to pay for any of this. If you're a sketchy person, you could just, find it on the internet. But
we're not promoting that.
No, I'm not. No, it's real. Just saying that's one way people could go about it. But if you even add, like, let's say $20, $30 to that, $80 a month, right? And they stack a couple streaming services on with that, I think that would be feasible if they. Now, one thing that I can say though is their boxes that they give you, like their cable boxes, are absolute dog trash, garbage, like just horrible to use. Like I was just so right before this, my girlfriend wanted to watch The Masked Singer, so I had to pull it up on demand, and it just like you click a button on the remote and it takes a minute to like just move the thing on the screen, and it's like so clunky. Where then I could go on my Fire Stick or Google Chromecast or Apple TV or whatever like you want to use, and it just is so much more responsive. It's quicker. It's like, how is this? I don't get how these cable companies expect to compete with this type of stuff if you can't even get your cable box like to work properly.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's weird how the internet's just kind of passed everything by in terms of speed, convenience, and all this stuff. I mean, people probably saw this back then, but anyways, that's besides the point. So I think that is a possible solution. That's kind of what happens with HBO Go. You have HBO, that means you have the streaming platform. Let's see, what other streaming platforms are like that? I mean, I guess Amazon kind of counts because if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get Amazon Prime Video.
Which,
but even then, they charge money for certain movies.
yeah, but even up until now, so like all these like FX, all these things have streaming services, right? Yeah. Like they have it. It's just not that there's anything exclusive. Where now NBC is like, well, we're gonna put exclusive stuff on Peacock too. So
that's the thing.
You want to have that. So like, at least give me a discount if I have a cable package, right?
That's the thing, yeah. Because I'm not sure how all this stuff is going to be feasible. I'm pretty sure. So here's the thing: Netflix, I don't believe has any income source other than subscriptions. They don't run any commercials on their platforms, no advertisement. So outside of subscriptions, I don't think that they make any money. And I believe Netflix is always in the red.
Yeah, they're always hurting, I feel like.
That's not good. How is that long-term feasible? I don't get it.
But do you not, coming from a cable standpoint, you think I think Peacock is going to have some sort of ads on there, right? So maybe just like built into like their app or something where it pops up. But like,
well, like Hulu does that. If you're below a certain tier, you have to have ads on your things.
Which I also don't mind. Sometimes I want an ad, like
a little ad break. Yeah,
I need to figure out I need to know about things every once in a while. Like YouTube, I don't get mad when YouTube throws ads in a video, right?
No,
it's when I've seen some crazy videos where there's way too many ads, but for the most part, it's reasonable, right? Like, one, because I think you need it mentally, right? I can't just be taking in this content with no breaks and, like, think to myself that it's going to be okay. Also, like, I would like to know about these products somehow, right? Like, I do like to consume things, like, no matter what it is.
John is a consumer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think we all are, though. But, like, how else am I going to find out about this new dish detergent that cleans better than the other dish detergent? Right?
Facts.
Also,
facts.
I'm also a sick person who I like watching commercials for their marketing standpoint. Like I used to watch oh my god, what are they called? Where they sell like a product, like the ShamWow.
Infomercials?
Oh my god, bro. Infomercials. There's these ones for these knives that could cut through like anything. It was such a well done infomercial. Or like the shark vacuum where they would like throw gravel into the carpet and they'd be like, look at it suck up this gravel. It could literally vacuum up anything. But that's besides the point. I don't think I wouldn't be personally mad, right? If they added ads to these things to make it cheaper, right? Like make it a $5 a month subscription for ads, maybe than the $10 or $12 that it would normally be for no ads.
Yes, of course. And so I'm someone who kind of pays attention to the fact that creators have to get paid and their shows or movies have to generate enough revenue in order for them to do what they actually want to do. And that's why I really don't mind ads on YouTube. That's how these guys get paid. I don't mind ads on TV because, well, number one, that's how it's always going to be. Number two, that's how you can tell how much a show is worth and how much revenue you can pay the actors, directors, producers, all that stuff, is by how much the ad space is going for. So, yeah, all that is to say that we're heading down a really weird place where I don't think anyone has a long-term plan as to where this is going to go once everyone has their own platforms and they're all not doing well or as well as they would hope. I think everyone's just kind of flying by the seat of their pants, trying to catch up with Netflix, who in and of themselves are kind of behind the ball already. So yeah, it's just something that I've been thinking about and blabbering about for years, and I kind of just want to talk about it on the podcast because that's what this is for.
Yeah, like I wonder how many of them are actually doing well. Like I feel like Hulu maybe, right? Because
Hulu
they
might
do have
because
those
Hulu
ads,
has ads,
right?
yeah.
But like Netflix, we've always known about it. Amazon, I think, will be fine because it's Amazon. So I think that's only one of the many things they offer. Like, right? They're like, hey,
Yeah.
buy our Prime, and hey, you'll also get these videos that we give you. Like,
Yeah, I mean that company's so profitable,
right?
It doesn't even matter.
If you don't have Amazon Prime, it's just like it's what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I just think that they always need to offer something else, right? So Hulu is unique in the sense that it's the videos where like they have different opportunities too, right? From what I know is like you have like their show, they have their Hulu shows, one. They have their like shows that they've bought that are just on there to stream. Then they have like current TV that like came out like yesterday or whatever, right? Don't they have an option for that? And then then they also have live TV on there too.
They do.
See, like, and
live sports.
That's the thing. Like, I think they'll be doing fine. And you know what? If Netflix is to die, I think they would die before Hulu, which is wild to say because when you think of streaming services, the number one that everyone thinks of is Netflix.
Because it was the first.
Yeah. And it's just so crazy. But how much before Hulu was Netflix? Because I feel like Hulu was like right there. That no one really talks about Hulu. Like it's like a sleeping agent almost.
Hulu might have always been around, but I think Netflix was the one that got the massive movie library first.
Okay. That's probably what did it. And that's wild to think about how often do you actually go on these things to watch a movie now?
Not often.
Like
now
most
it's
of
just
the
shows.
stuff you consume is the shows, right? Like you did mention that one movie to me yesterday.
Little Monsters. Highly recommend to everyone. And that's the interesting thing. So I watched this movie Little Monsters yesterday. It stars Lupita Nyong'o, who is an Academy Award level actress rather. And it's a zombie movie. It's warm, it's endearing, it's hilarious, it's violent. I think this movie, especially around this time of year, would have done gangbusters at the box office. But somehow Hulu got the rights to it.
Hulu. There we go again. Hulu, right? Like the sleeping dog got the rights to it, and as you said, it was a good movie. And I did see, like, I knew of this movie because I saw it on like an ad on YouTube, right? Like, but I didn't realize that it was I thought it was coming out in theaters. Like that's how good the production was. Like I saw the ad and I was like, oh, this is like a coming attraction for a movie coming to the theaters. That's weird that I haven't heard about it yet. But like, and like that's great. Hulu got it, not Netflix.
Oh, by the way, YouTube has their own streaming service as well. It's called YouTube
Oh my
Red.
god, yeah. And then there's then you get into the world of like PlayStation has their PlayStation View, which is a cable package. Dude, it's so complicated now. I don't know how all these things are going to survive. But also, I think it's cool to see because like getting to witness this is almost like getting to witness like when like cable
the rise of TV.
Out. Yeah, the rise of like it's our rise of our like it's just cool. And then but then it all has to compete with what we're doing right now. We're not making people pay for this.
No,
there's so many
compete with regular YouTube podcasts.
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff.
Just YouTube channels like. But that's the thing that I think about next, right? When is there going to be someone to compete with YouTube? Do you think there's ever going to be a streaming service to compete with YouTube? One, and I think I know one way that it can, right? I think something could compete with YouTube if they just said whatever you want, right? This is viewer discretion, right? Like maybe they put a rating on it, like to say like they rate their things just so they could put controls on it for children, blah blah blah. But like we're not limiting people, right? We're just a host to provide it. Now, given like I could say like certain hate speech and stuff like that, but maybe then that's where it goes down the rabbit hole. But like I think that's the only way where you like they let flagrant stuff come out.
I think this is gonna sound crazy. I think Pornhub lets you upload whatever you
It
want.
does. People have shows on Pornhub, I think,
Wow.
which is wild.
Yeah, so
but
it would take someone like that. However,
but they would need they would need a rebranding, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
it just call it the bro. I need to email them. Just call it the Hub.
Boom. Yeah.
The Hub.
Although there was a place in Hoboken called that,
and they got shut down for a similar reason that Pornhub would need to change their name.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
So the circle would become the square, and I think we should wrap up that conversation right there. Yes. That was pretty. It's pretty long. It was long enough.
Next thing we get into before the video games, right, is a listener question that we were posed with last night, right?
Yes.
So a listener asked us this question, and the question is, if aliens came down, and you, whoever you are, right, get to show them any one movie, what movie would you show those aliens?
And I think we should keep this sort of quick fire. So I'm going to go right away. I will give mine. It is Forrest Gump starring Tom Hanks. The reason for that is, I think, first of all, if any life form out there is able to travel all the way to Earth, that means they have technology way out of our comprehension. They could have weapons. They could be in some way lethal to us, or they could benefit us pretty greatly. And I think you have to show them the good side of humans. I think you need to show them the art that humans can make that can make you feel good. It talks about human connection. It talks about people that have differences, both with their mental capacity as well as their physical capacity. How life kind of just goes on and on. How we treat life, how we view death. I think that is the perfect movie to show aliens, and hopefully they won't take us up into space and like give us udders and stuff. You know,
since my life is one giant meme, though, I think that what you said was one hell of a movie. The explanation was eloquent. It was beautiful. All those reasons, amazing. But realistically, the only appropriate answer for this is Independence Day.
Oh my! I knew it.
And it has to be Independence Day, right? Just show them the pure power of, if you mess with us, Will Smith will destroy you.
Intimidation tactics.
Right?
I like it.
Like, just show them, even though like they'll probably watch it and be like, "This is obviously fake," right? Like, this is obviously a fake movie, right? Because I'm assuming, like, by this situation that they understand English, right? We have to take that, like, they could translate our language.
I would imagine so, especially if they can travel here.
In this situation, for you playing at home, if you do, also, I would love to hear in any comments, YouTube comments, whatever podcast app you're listening to this on, or even if you just want to email in for next episode, maybe we could talk about if we get emails.
Or tweet at us.
Yeah, or tweet at us, which we'll throw all that stuff in the down below in the information, and say it at the end of the podcast. But let us know what movie you think you would want to show them and why. Like, I think this could be a really fun conversation, because I know people would think of this differently. Now, to everyone's favorite section of this podcast probably is our video game talk, right? Now let's nerd out on our video games. We did our movie talk. Let's get to our video games. And now you could already hear the excitement in my voice, right? Because one big thing happened since our last podcast. And that was the fall and the rise of Fortnite. And there's a reason I say it that way. Because we had Season X of Fortnite. Probably the worst season available. Mom. What the hell?
Keep this in.
We're podcasting, Ma. All right.
Never have we ever sounded like we live in our mom's basements more than right now.
Yeah, but I'm going to... It's fine, right? I think. Hopefully. It adds to the podcast, right? You won't get this on a honed-in radio show, right?
Nope.
Or any of the previous stuff we talked about on any of these streaming platforms. Boom, look, full circle. Yeah. All right, so we had the fall and the rise of Fortnite. Season X, worst season, as you heard in the last podcast, right? Then we had the event of all events. And this is where I first want to start this conversation, right? Because during this event, I said, even though it infuriated me to all hell, because as some people may know, what they did was Fortnite went into a black hole. and they literally shut it down
Literally.
for what, 2 days?
About a day and a half.
Day and a half, right? Felt like forever though. They shut it down for a day and a half. Now, not just any day and a half, but a Sunday afternoon and Monday Columbus Day, where a lot of kids have off of school, which they could spend money on this game, right? Now, I said, obviously I was infuriated, but I did think it could be a good marketing strategy because it brought so much attention to Fortnite, right? And Kyle, in the moment, had the opposite view. But now, I want to see Kyle's answer to this. Do you think it paid off?
I'm going to be honest, I do think it paid off. I think that Fortnite for a couple months now has been kind of out of the public radar. I think when it first jumped onto the scene, it was huge. I mean, it made mainstream media. Ninja is a famous person now. People's parents know who Ninja is. I think at the beginning of the Fortnite run, it was on top of the world. It was number one. It was the number one game, I think, of all time, just because of how big it was, how it was making memes, it was making the news. But then towards the end of like seasons 8 through 10, people kind of stopped talking about it as much. We had Apex come in, Minecraft became big again at a certain point. Not that Minecraft ever fell off or anything.
I think the only reason though Minecraft became big was not even, I wouldn't even say season 8 and 9. I think it was straight.
Well, I think that's when Apex
10.
Came out, right?
Right? Yeah. But yeah, the Minecraft came season 10 because
yes,
everyone was just like, I'm so fed up with this crap.
Yes. So then I do think that they needed to do something to get Fortnite on people's minds again and people's radar. And I think maybe this was the thing to do. It frustrated a lot of people. There was a lot of kids punching their TVs and computer screens.
Which I'll go down on my shield on this one and still think some of that was just content creation, basically. Like,
yeah, some of that
maybe by older brothers. Maybe it wasn't the kid who, maybe that kid may have been frustrated, but some older brothers were like, hey, punch your TV. And then recorded it.
I totally agree. Totally agree. And in the moment, I thought it was such a stupid thing to do after giving your fans a really subpar couple months of the game and not listening to them at all. I thought that putting us into that black hole and not saying a word about it for a day and a half, I thought that was really dangerous. It pissed me off as a consumer. But I gotta say it worked, man. I still feel kind of annoyed that they did it, but I'm playing this new season of Fortnite for sure. I'm still having just as much fun, if not more fun than last season.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, it worked for me. It did.
Yeah, and I think there's one reason why it worked. One reason. Because Chapter 2, Season 1, right? Season 11, whatever you want to call it, is awesome. Like, it
delivered the goods.
It's so good. If they brought it back to the basics, right? So they gave us all the basic weapons. Nothing, no frills. The map is beautiful. I don't know what they did to the graphics, but it's so colorful and so beautiful to see, right? So
a little more 3D too.
Yeah, and I think that really, I think that's going to do wonders for streaming, right? Because one thing we said was one of the reasons that we think Fortnite works so well as a streamed game and blew up the streaming culture is because of how the visuals are, right? Call of Duty is so dull in like its color scheme, right?
Yeah, it makes me not want to play it, I'm going to be honest.
I would like to play it, right? But streaming it, I don't think you're going to get the same type of views because it's almost rough on the eye.
It's drab.
Yeah, drab is a good word. Where Fortnite, it's vibrant. Even the actiony like esque of the fights, it's not brutal, right? So kids
it's silly
could watch
and it's
it.
Fun.
Yeah, kids could watch it. There's no blood, like it, and then also you could, as an adult, you could really take in consideration, especially if you watch it more and more. The tactics that go into the game are immense, right? So it's a perfect streaming game. And I just think they knocked it out of the water, man. Like, it's crazy how well this season is, right? Now, there are some things I know we're both a little frustrated about, like the lack of rotation. Even though I think I'm getting better at rotating using the rivers, right?
Yeah.
But the boats, I do realize that there are more boats than I realized at the beginning. But I just think that they really nailed it. Like, they had an idea of what they needed to do, and they executed it perfectly.
In the words of the notorious Conor McGregor, well, maybe now
Oh, I was
more
just gonna say
notorious
that's
for
rough.
bad things.
I don't know if anyone knows, but Conor McGregor just got. I don't know how would even
A second Me Too.
Yeah, second Me Too. He just sexually assaulted for a second time.
Well,
in
allegedly.
October. Allegedly, first time. Wait, what even? I don't even remember what happened with the first time, but whatever. So second time, and it's hard being
It's
a
sad.
Conor fan. It's hard being a Conor fan right now.
Yeah,
Just like,
but anyways, in the words of the notorious one, surprise, surprise, motherfuckers, the king is back.
yes. And now that brings me to my second portion of game talk, right? We were very excited during Season X for the Call of Duty, right?
Yes.
Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, just so people don't, just in case you don't know, they're revamping their Modern Warfare series, right? What it felt like was they're also going back to the basics of what made Call of Duty great. Because what happened over the years with Call of Duty. So obviously, anyone who plays games now, that's older, like 20s, late teens, Call of Duty was a big game during their childhood. It was one of the first internet shooter games that really blew up, right?
And we know that there's games like Counter-Strike out there that
Yes.
that came before it and everything,
Yes.
but this is like a mainstream game that
Yes.
like was huge when we were in middle school, high school. Some people were in grade school.
Burnt hours and hours in this game, right? This was the first game that I was probably addicted to, right? It was Call of Duty. Online game addicted to. And so we played the beta, and it brought back so much nostalgia, right? It felt like the old Call of Duties. It was exciting. I was thinking about, like, I can't wait till it comes out and I can level up, tier up, unlock these gun wraps, blah, blah. And to be honest, it comes out in 5 days. And do you know how much I want to play this game right now, Kyle?
How much?
I don't.
Yeah.
And it almost hurts me to say that.
I think that's because we were both so excited about it going into the fall season, especially with the state of where Fortnite was at. And this is why I say the king is back, because Fortnite is the big dog right now, and it's back again. I think Call of Duty was making strides to get back to making their consumers happy, which is something that Fortnite wasn't doing last month or last couple months really. And I guess Epic saw the error in their ways. They saw what Activision was doing. Activision's the one that's publishing this game, right?
I'm not sure. I could look that up real quick.
So while John's looking that up, yeah, I think that Epic saw what Call of Duty was doing, and they said, you know what, let's give back to our community. And I can't say I'm too hyped about Call of Duty anymore either. I think I'll still buy it. I'm not sure how much I'm going to play it though, because I don't know about you, John, but I kind of want to grind out this season of Fortnite, get all these skins, get the battle pass.
Me too. Not even that. Just explore the map. Like, I don't have, like, I can honestly say right now, I don't have one favorite spot to jump to. I think I am developing one with that, like, Southern Island. But besides that, like, I don't, like, and there's so much of the map I don't know, and I just want to explore it and get good again, like, and it's just, it's, like, I posted on Instagram the other day. Every dub that I've gotten, I got my first dub this season, and it felt just as good as my first dub ever. Right?
I agree.
Like, I don't know how they do it. Well, that's my little next caveat that I want to get into for the last topic of the podcast. But I just don't know how they're this good at keeping every single game this exciting. Maybe it's because, like, and I think maybe Call of Duty, it was just so rapid fire, right? How long are those matches? Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I don't even know. Where a Fortnite game, if you play the whole thing through, it's about 20 minutes, right? And it now maybe it is faster to get into these games because they have the auto ready. But it's just one of those things that, like, every time you play it, it's just as exciting, right? Even if you're just...
and I do think the thing with Fortnite, and maybe with any battle royale game, it's the level of difficulty, and that's what keeps it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a dub, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, that was hard. It's something I had to work for. And that's what keeps it exciting, keeps it fun. When you do it, you feel like you accomplished something, even though it's
Yeah.
just you winning this virtual contest that doesn't really amount to anything in life.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
It does amount to something. Community building.
True.
Confidence builder, right?
Sure.
I have kids who, as I think I mentioned in the first pod, that I'm a teacher, right? But I'm a teacher, and my students, they flex on each other because they're better on the sticks, right? They're better than the other person on Call of Duty, right? And they talk trash, right? They're in person talking trash about how they're better at a video game than one another. Like, it's just something they do. But going with that, my students are also very excited for the new Call of Duty, right? Even though they do love this new Fortnite season, they're excited for the new Call of Duty. They do play, which I don't even know, Kyle, if you even seen it, the Call of Duty mobile.
No, I haven't seen it.
They've been playing that a lot in school, right? So it's Fortnite has their Fortnite mobile. I think there was, what's that other battle royale? PUBG had a mobile game. And now Call of Duty came out with a mobile game, right? So it's like team deathmatch and all that stuff, right? They have gun game, that fun stuff. And my kids like it. So I'm not saying Call of Duty's dead, right? Obviously, they have their diehard fans who just don't even want to mess with Fortnite, right? They do have a streaming, following, right? A lot of people watch Call of Duty. But I don't see them, as I once thought just 2 weeks ago, I don't see Call of Duty dethroning Fortnite for the king of games right now. I just can't see it. And I think that's all we could talk about that little topic. But it brings me to my very last piece of news that came out from last podcast, which our good friend Alan in ForceFit on Instagram.
Follow him. He's a great fitness channel.
Yes, brought this up to us. That Fortnite's getting sued in Canada for being an addictive game. And the reason that they're able to sue is because Fortnite has psychologists on their team. Now, here's my thing, right? I do understand how to parents that can be alarming. But I don't think this is the first game, right? Definitely not the first actual game of any type, and I don't think it's the first console game that probably does it either, right? Because I know that these apps, right? I keep saying right, damn. I know these apps like Candy Crush, even the games that I think remember Farmville on Facebook?
Yeah, I do.
I think they probably had someone on their team that's what can we do to get people addicted to this? What are we going to do to keep them coming back? Oh, when they grow this crop, they have to be back in 24 hours to make sure the crop grows but doesn't overgrow, because then it will die, so on and so forth. So I don't think they're the first ones to actually do this, right? I know every app does this. Every app has a psychologist to make their app addicting, right? Instagram does it. Social media platforms do it. So I don't think they're going to win this lawsuit, but how do you feel about the fact that with the game that we probably are addicted to is being produced to make us addicted to it?
I don't mind. I think that every piece of content out there I know that every piece of content ever out there is made to grab your attention. It's made to keep you guessing, keep you wanting more. And I think that's just the nature of the beast. With any sort of... Once you make any type of content monetizable, that's the goal. Get repeat viewing, repeat customers, maybe get people hooked on it if it's possible at all. I think that's I think it's just the name of the game, especially in the gaming industry, especially where gaming has gone now, where microtransactions are king. I think that you kind of need to have a game that grabs viewers like that, or really grabs consumers like that, and turns them into microtransactioners, as I like to call them. I think that Call of Duty did it back in the day, not with the microtransactions, but made the game addicting. To where now it's about microtransactions a little bit here and there. Star Wars Battlefront did it. Fortnite's doing it. NBA 2K is one of the biggest contributors to the microtransactioning world within the gaming industry. And yeah, I think that's what it is. I think the end goal, as we all know, is money. And once you get people hooked, that's when people pull out their wallets.
And then I think on top of it, since they are corporations, right, they don't want to see it decline, right? So even if they're making money and they even plateau, probably they think that that's a loss for them, right? Where
Yeah.
I do think Fortnite, Call of Duty, they want to see it. Okay, but where's our growth this quarter? Where's our growth this quarter? Okay, are we growing? Are we growing? Are we growing? And I think that's very hard for these games to do. So I do understand it, and I think it's just, man, that's just the name of the game. I think no matter what you have, like you said,
Yeah.
we're a media-based age. You don't think that Netflix is like, how do we keep people on here? You don't think that literally, like I said, apps are like, how do we keep people on here? So it's
Not
very
to cut you off, John, but
Yeah.
YouTube literally added in a function a couple years ago where they automatically play videos
Yeah.
after your video's done.
And you have to uncheck it so that it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And then you go on next time and you have to uncheck it again, right? It's not like it stays unchecked. I mean, maybe in the settings somewhere you can make it so it does that, but it's obviously not just like something they put up front. Yeah, I think it's Netflix does the same thing. They start the next episode. Everything just because they want to keep you on that screen. They want you there, and I think that's the name of the game. I just feel like, and it's understandable. Like people need to get their money. People, this is their jobs are riding on it, and I don't see it as the worst thing. And when it goes back to the parents saying, "Yeah, but my kids are getting addicted," no offense, parents, that's your fault, right?
Of course,
like,
yeah.
I
Put
mean,
limits.
my parents, one thing they made me do when I was younger was you come home, you do your homework first. You don't get to play video games until you do your homework, right? And then when you got your work done and got that out of the way, then you could do whatever you want, right? And then even after that, they would tell me, you're getting off this thing, right? They still try to do that, but that it doesn't work no more, right? You can't tell me now, mom and dad, okay? All of a sudden I feel like my door's gonna become bursting down. But yeah, I just think it's a wild world we live in. I don't mind it. Yeah, Fortnite's addicting, but so is any other game that you're gonna play, right?
And you know what? As I said to my mom back in the day about my probable sneaker addiction, you know what, parents? They could be doing drugs instead.
Exactly. And on that note, I say we wrap it up, right?
I
I think
agree.
this was a great pod. We talked about amazing topics. I got very passionate. I think you got very passionate. We had a cameo from my mother.
Shout
So
out John's mom, confirmed.
I do think it was a great podcast. I thank you everyone who stuck it out and listened to this point. So Kyle, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Buff Charmander. You can find me on YouTube. YouTube is Geeks Weekly, where we do movie reviews, comic book reviews, film analysis, sometimes unboxings, and stuff like that.
Yes, and I am Ginger Gorilla on Mixer. I am Ginger Gorilla Gaming on Instagram. Ginger Gorilla Gaming on YouTube. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, if you're not, you can find us on all your favorite podcast apps. Now we are officially up. We weren't at the launch of the last episode, but it's so weird to see our podcast on like iTunes and Google Play and all that. It's awesome. But we are there, so search us if you want to listen to us that way. I know we're audio only. And once again, let us know what you guys think, right? So the thing with this is right now, as you could say, we're bi-weekly. We're keeping it around this 45-minute mark. And until we see a request for more, we're not going to do. I don't think we're necessarily going to go out and do more, right? We want that growth. We want to hear from you guys. And once again, send in your questions. If you want to hear us talk about something, debate something, let us know. Ginger Gorilla Gaming at Gmail, or just DM either one of us on any of our social media. All the links are going to be down below or in the info for this podcast. You can find them there. And as for that, I think that's it. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for listening.